As Mr. Lund said, most of you have never heard of me or seen me before, and I'll just be very brief. Mr. Lund actually hired me as a superintendent of Greenfield, and we had one student, just one, who couldn't go to school because of a medical issue. She just couldn't be around other people, but very bright, college-oriented. And it seemed to me just wrong that there wasn't a school in the state for students like this particular college-bound student. And she really was the instigating factor to create a statewide school for students who needed something different. It had never been done before in Massachusetts. The legislature didn't know what to do. We had to get the law changed. The State Department of Education had never heard of a virtual school that was a public school. I'd seen some in other parts of the country. So we had to change the laws. We had to create a school no one had ever heard of, and it's still the first and only K-12 public school in New England. At the time, we only had one student. We were only allowed to open as an elementary school because people, when we had sixth graders, they had nowhere to go. And because we had parents statewide, there was a statewide cry, like, what are our children going to do? You're just going to leave them out. So we were allowed to roll up to grade 7. Then we got smart. We packed grade 8 with a lot of students so that we could have a good argument to roll up to high school. When I look, I can't even tell you how much paperwork was involved in this enterprise of doing something that had never been done before. But I have to say, in your life, the two things I would say is, first of all, I started out as a classical piano player. I don't know who got the music scholarship. If anyone had told me I'd be a school superintendent, I wouldn't even have known what it was. But I think if you get the idea that you want to do something and you just know it's what you want to do, what's really important is to find people that support you. And this school wouldn't exist if it were not for Mr. Lund, who was the school committee that I worked for, and Darrell Asensa, who was also on the school committee, just being behind doing something that had never been done before. I look out at the audience today, I see 35 graduates. When we started, we couldn't even imagine we'd be allowed to have a high school, and here you are with this wonderful school, and I just couldn't be happier. And I am thrilled that someone's getting an award in my name. It just gives me great pleasure. So congratulations to all of you, and thanks to all the staff and faculty that make this school possible.
So the Susan Hollins Founder Award is an award granted to a graduating senior who exemplifies the characteristics of courage, scholarship, generosity, and entrepreneurial spirit. Deserving students are nominated by members of the GCVS faculty, and the award recipient is selected by the administration. In addition to an engraved award, the recipient also receives a $250 cash award to help towards the school expenses. An anonymous donor sponsored this year's award. I'm pleased to announce that this year's Susan D. Hollins Founders Award recipient is Jessica Kushner. At this time, it is also my pleasure to introduce the valedictorian of the class of 2019, Jessica Kushner. Jess has been with GCVS for many years. In fact, she began with us in the 7th grade in 2013. In her time here, her academic achievements have been remarkable. She has consistently impressed us with her commitment to challenge herself academically and fulfill her true potential. Jess has finished every single high school course with an A average and has always held herself to the highest standards by taking the most rigorous courses available. In addition to her academic achievements, her presence in our school community has always been felt. Jess is a leader, always ready to bring strong points to a discussion or offer encouragement to another student. Over the years, her level of engagement with GCVS, both in and out of the classroom, has been exemplary. While Jessica has been accepted into multiple universities, she has accepted an offer to attend Westfield State University, where she would be a wonderful addition to their school community. Please welcome Jessica as she addresses her classmates.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. So good evening. My name is Jessica Kushner, as you have heard, and I'm the valedictorian for the class of 2019 at GCVS. At last, after 4 wonderful, long years of high school, we are finally here to graduate, and I'm so happy to see you all here. Thank you to the faculty, to the staff, to the board of directors, to the board of trustees, to everyone, teachers, and students, and families, and I'm so happy you're all here. Now that we are finished with high school, there are some thank yous which I'd like to give to everyone who has helped me get to this moment. So first of all, I'd like to thank God for helping me and guiding me. I would also like to thank all of the teachers and staff for all of their diligent hard work throughout all of these years to make online high school a success. I am glad that we have so many helpful and enthusiastic members of the staff and teachers who work here at GCVS, and I appreciate all of your hard work which you've done to make each one of us a successful graduate. For your teachers, I have a quote from Benjamin Franklin, which says, "Tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, involve me and I learn." So this quote demonstrates the power of interactive learning, which is a major component of all of the classes in GCVS. Teachers such as Mr. Bose, Ms. Ho, Mr. Evans, Mrs. Paquette, Dr. Cosner, Dr. Brooks, Ms. Porter, Ms. Panicella, and so on, do an outstanding job every day at work so that their students can realize success. And the same can be said of all of our staff members and of everybody who works at GCVS. I know that being an online teacher can be stressful and the workload is sure tremendous, but I'm glad that every teacher at GCVS has decided to step up to the challenge. Dear teachers, I want to let you know that your method of teaching really influences us. In 10 years, perhaps most of us will forget about what the Krebs cycle is or how to solve a parametric equation, but I'm sure we will never forget who our teachers were and what their class is like. So thank you for that. As for you fellow students, you all know as well as I do that virtual schooling, although it allows for more flexibility, it does demand a lot more discipline. The fact that we are all here graduating tonight shows us that we have passed this test of discipline, and we have all learned to manage our time wisely, and this important skill will follow us the rest of our life. Once again, I would like to thank you, GCVS, for the opportunity to have a high-quality online education. People from all around Massachusetts are able to graduate together in the same class thanks to online education. Virtual schooling is revolutionizing the world, and we are the forerunners to that race. I know that everyone at GCVS invested a tremendous amount of effort in order to prove that online education is not only possible, but is in many ways much better than a brick-and-mortar education. I'm extremely grateful for the years that I spent with you all. Thank you, everybody.